Hey, what's up, Angels fans? And welcome back to Angels Latest, the daily show where we talk about everything happening with our Halos the same way we do with our friends. We're a little hopeful, a little frustrated, a little traumatized, and a little delusional, but we're always locked in. I'm Anthony, and thanks for joining me. Hey, look, it's the off season. It's that time of year when every baseball fan becomes a GM, every rumor becomes a possibility, and every Angels fan asks the same question. Could this be the offseason we finally turn things around? We're talking big names today. We're talking realistic dreams, and we're talking about two players this Angels fan and many Halos fans would love to see running out onto the field of the Big A in 2026. So let's jump right in it. So let's make it a family reunion. Why not target Bo Bichette? I mean, the Angels fans perk up the very second we hear Bo Bichette. Let's talk about who he is, why he makes sense, why he's realistic, and why he'd help transform this franchise. So, Bo Bichette, he is the son of Dante Bichette, and he's not just a good hitter. We're talking about Bo Bichette. He's a franchise-level cornerstone player. At 27 years old, he's a two-time All-Star, career .298 batting average hitter, top-tier bat-to-ball skills, low strikeouts in a league full of whiffs, and yes, as I mentioned already, his dad, Dante Bichette. He played for the Angels in 1991 through 92. That family connection matters because players care about legacy, and Bo knows the Angels' history, and his father played a piece of it. So we take a look at Bo Bichette's 2025 statistical breakdown. He is a .272 batting average, 18 home runs, 73 runs batted in, a 115 league-adjusted on-base plus slugging percentage, 3.4 WAR, 88.3 mile per hour average exit velocity, 43% hard hit rate, 17% strikeout rate. That is excellent. And a 6% walk rate. And some advanced numbers, a .306 expected batting average, .357 weighted on base average, and top 10 in Major League Baseball in hits 3 different seasons. He has a low whiff rate, one of the best opposite field hitters in baseball. This dude does not strike out. He puts the ball in play. He forces action, he gets on base, and he creates pressure. The Angels have not had a consistent contact hitter in years like Bo Bichette, excuse me. Why Bo Bichette fits the Angels? Because the Angels right now strike out too much. He gives you an actual shortstop. He's entering his prime, and he has real Angels family roots. He raises the floor of your entire lineup. Bo Bichette is a tone setter, a culture setter, a consistency setter. Teams win with players like Bichette. Now, the pros of signing him: gets an elite contract, low strikeouts, great clubhouse presence, a great baseball mind in his IQ, athleticism, durability. We mentioned he's still young, and of course, the family connection to Angels history. Now, here are some of the cons. And of course, we always look at both the good and the bad. Some of his defense is average. He will cost a lot of money. Toronto may extend him after all, and he's going to require a long-term commitment. Talking about his contract, his projection is 7 to 10 years, $185 million to $260 million. Can the Angels pay that? Absolutely. They've done it before multiple times. More on that in an upcoming segment. Now let's take a look at another name, Kyle Schwarber, the power bat that the Angels need. Now let's talk about a completely different type of hitter. Bo is finesse. Schwarber is brutal force. This man hits the ball into orbit, and we've seen it. He hits baseballs that should come with a TSA flight plan. He hits baseballs that physically hurt in the air as they travel through. So let's break it down. Kyle Schwarber is a World Series champion, an all-star, absolute power machine, has elite barrel rate, obviously veteran leader, 40-plus home run potential every single year, and a perfect lefty bat to slot into the Angels lineup. Looking at Schwarber's statistical breakdown this last season in 2025, 247 average for batting average hitting, 44 home runs, 109 RBIs, an 859 OPS, 137 run creation, 15.3 barrel rate, which is elite, 91.8 miles per hour average exit velocity. That ball is screaming. 46% hard hit rate, 28% strikeout rate, and yeah, I accept that. 15% walk rate, which is elite. This is exactly the kind of hitter the Angels have not had since their prime of Garrett Anderson, Vladdy, Trout, or Ohtani. So Schwarber fits the Angels, and this is why. Because they need lefty power. They lack middle of the order identity. And he can protect Trout and Ohtani. He brings playoff experience. He changes how pitchers approach the lineup. And Schwarber adds fear, just pure and simple. The Angels have lacked that for a long while. So pros for Schwarber, of course, the home runs, the walks, the on-base percentage, power, energy, clubhouse presence. Now you look at the cons, of course. Look with the bad and the good. Defense, but then again, he's mainly a DH, so really not batting too much or betting too much on his defense. Strikeouts, and not a long term, as he is prime aging in his career. Projected contract for Schwarber, though, is 3 to 5 years, $85 million to $120 million. And the question again, can the Angels afford that? Absolutely. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about Artie Moreno and the spending debate. Now, this is where fans start throwing chairs. So let's calm down and talk about this as Halos fans. The most common comment I've been seeing is the Angels will never sign a big free agent as long as Artie Moreno owns the team. So let's look at history and not emotion. So big contracts Artie Moreno has signed. All of these were under Artie. All right, here we go. Mike Trout, $426.5 million. Anthony Rendon, $245 million. Albert Pujols, $240 million. Josh Hamilton, $125 million. Justin Upton, $106 million. C.J. Wilson, $77.5 million. And of course, absorbing Vernon Wells' $86 million. So this is not an owner who refused to spend or refuses to spend. This is an owner who spends and on the wrong guys. Yep, sorry to say that. Pros of Moreno's spending, though, he goes after superstars. He's never scared of 9-figure contracts. He loves the marquee names, and Anaheim is still a desirable market. Now, again, here are the cons. We look at the good with the bad and the ugly. We have poor resource allocation. Overpays for decline in years. We've seen Artie go after guys that are possibly in their prime, and then right away they just kind of fall off the cliff there. He really hasn't invested enough in pitching infrastructure and hasn't modernized the analytics. We always hear about Moneyball with other teams, but for some reason with the Angels, that still just doesn't come into play a lot. So the bottom line, the Angels can sign stars. They can spend $200 million. They can compete for big names. Money is not the problem. Smart decision making is. All right, so let's jump in now to our viewer comments here, and we're going to have some responses as well, as every reply I'm going to provide to you comes from reading these comments we received mainly in our last show. So this is where we're going to talk like friends. This is where we're going to debate. We're going to laugh. We're going to get frustrated and bond over the shared trauma of rooting for this baseball team. So let's go one by one. All right. So Stephen Miller, 8895. Steve, first, all right, let's break this down man to man. Angels fans to Angels fan. First, I appreciate the passion. We're all frustrated. We all want this team to win. So let me respond point to point, or point by point rather, respectfully and honestly. You said I'm out of touch with the Angels lineup and how Artie spends. But again, let's clear something out. Artie Moreno spends money. We just talked about in that last segment. He just doesn't always spend it smartly. And the Angels lineup, it's flawed, yes, but it's not hopeless. All right, now on to Kyle Tucker. Tucker is expensive, absolutely. But that's the whole point of off-season dreaming and the dream board. We talk about the best players available and what we'd like to see them take. Does the team need pitching more than bats? Absolutely. Everyone agrees on that. But that doesn't mean we ignore elite talent when it becomes available. Now, next, he says Trout being washed up. Nah, man, Trout is injured, not washed. Those are two different things. And Bregman being too expensive? Yes, he's expensive. But again, that's the conversation. And you mentioned you want pitching. Same here, buddy. Everybody does. But we talk about all options here. Position players, pitchers, everything. Steve, I hear you, man. I respect your passion, but I'm not out of touch. I'm just exploring every angle. All right, let's go on to our next comment. And this one comes from X-Rated, talking about golf swings messing up Trout. Talk about Freudian slip there. Man, look, I get it. We've all joked about Trout spending more time on the green than the grass at Angel Stadium. But his injuries aren't from golf. His bones are just made out of elite athlete wear and tear at this point. Cutting golf won't fix Trout's back, his calf, or even his rib cage. So I do get your points through. I mean, it feels frustrating seeing him golfing while injured. But again, it's just not really going to help him out. All right, so now let's talk about a comment from ST Pauling Dog. It says the only thing we want is Artie selling. You're not wrong. A lot of the fan base feels this. It's the number one comment just about everywhere. But since we can't force a sale, we focus on good signings, coaching staff upgrades, pitching development, modern analytics. Ownership change, well, that's a long game, but short-term hope doesn't exist. All right, let's talk about comment from Garrett Dale 1506. He says, sign King and Cease first. And I agree. Pitching is priority 1, 2, and 3. Adding King or Cease would be massive. We will cover them in upcoming episodes. And again, from X-Rated, if you're real, I'll subscribe. Hey, I respect that, and that means a lot to me. I'm here to bring real Angels content, not clickbait. So hope you stick around and be part of the conversations that we have. All right, let's go to our next comment by Corey Soto. And Corey Soto says, can't afford Tucker or Bregman plus pitching. And you know what, Corey? Totally a fair point. But the Angels can afford it with smart structuring. Front-loaded deals, deferred years, opt-outs, incentive-based pitching contracts. Payroll isn't the issue. Smart allocation is. And then the comment from Mark B. 3451 says, Artie signs the wrong pitchers. And you're right. Historically, yes. Lincecum, Harvey, Syndergaard, C.J. Wilson, Tyler Wilson, Kikuchi attempts. Hopefully he is still going to be successful with us. But this is why Mike Maddox, the new pitching coach, being hired matters. The pitching infrastructure hasn't existed here, and now it does. All right, let's take a look at the comment from Eric says 76. He actually had two comments. So his first comment is, in the, you can take a look at it. And Eric, my guy, your comment is full of emotional spectrum of being an Angel fan. Everything you said is what thousands of us feel. I mean, I broke your entire comment down originally point by point, and here it is again. On Artie Moreno, the fans are tired, and you're not wrong. On Trout, he's injured, not washed. And he has full no trade protection as he chooses. On players not wanting to come, not actually true. SoCal is very attractive to free agents. On wasting Trout plus Ohtani, you're absolutely right, my friend. And your second comment, comparing me to Roger Lodge, I laughed for like 20 seconds. I'm not here to spin things. I'm here to be real. Respect to you, Eric. I loved your comments. Seriously, I look forward to hearing more from you. All right, let's talk about another comment here from Mario 6095. Is this guy even an Angels fan? Who is Ohop? And Mario, I deserve that. I did say Ohop like a dude who's never watched a game in his life. But here's the truth, my friend. I'm absolutely an Angels fan. Born in the 80s, raised on Angels baseball. My heroes were Wally Joyner, Chili Davis, Devon White, Bob Boone. I even became a catcher because of Bob Boone when I played Little League. Wanted to wear number 8. Doug DeCinces, Bobby Grich, Tim Salmon, of course, Garrett Anderson. Can't forget about Percy, Gloss, and Edmonds. In fact, Edmonds lived in the same community I still live in now, and we both grew up here and had a chance to meet him. He went to the local high school here. Definitely had an opportunity to meet him. It was great to say hi to him and just connect that we came from the same city in the same area. But, just like everyone else, I've lived through every heartbreak with the Halos, every collapse, every false rebuild. But now I'm new to YouTube, and gosh, I'm nervous as heck on camera if you can't tell. And sometimes I misspeak, and I think I've done it already a few times during this episode. So give this new guy some grace with your support. And with reps, I'll settle in and we'll get everything running smoothly. All right, Trunk da Funk, I respect you and right back to you for sticking with this team under Moreno. And Gary Van Dickar, 2580, you might be right. Bregman and Tucker could stay in the East, but offseason is dream season. All right, and then CM or hiking. Artie, he says, Artie has given 9-figure deals and money isn't the issue. Allocation is. And Dodger Blue 7381 mentioned about Cody Bellinger. Yes, we are adding Cody Bellinger to the future episodes here as we go down our free agency list. And you're absolutely right. Mike Maddox is a great hire. All right, so those were your comments. I enjoyed thoroughly reading them and talking back and forth as fans, as buds over a Corona, Bud Light, whatever favorite brew you enjoy. And let's keep that up. I love it. I love the respect, the ability to, just kind of chat with each other, just like bros would do, again, chatting over a beer and, talking Halo baseball. So, let's keep going. I really appreciate it. And again, with more reps and doing this, the nerves will calm down and I'll be able to get things out without having to do a retake and, repeat myself to say what I really was looking to say before, the stumble. So anyways, but thank you for joining me on this episode of Angels Latest. We broke down Bo Bichette, Kyle Schwarber, Artie Moreno's real spending history, and your passionate, honest, and enjoyable comments. Now, again, I want to hear from you. Who should the Angels target first, pitching or hitting? Bo Bichette, Schwarber, Bellinger, or someone else? And your honest take on Trout. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read all of them. And I hope you enjoyed the show. And if you did, please hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next Angels Latest. All right, I'm Anthony, and thanks for hanging out with me again. And as always, go Halos!